Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. This is Sarah Spalding and I'm so happy you are here. This is my first official video, which is like so crazy. I don't even know like what to do with it, but this is gonna be a big one and I'm super nervous. Just disclaimer before I start, everything that I say is my personal experience. If your experience is different, that's amazing for you and I'm so glad, but this was my experience. I'm not looking for your opinion on it. This is just why I did something in my life and my experience. I have no hard feelings to anybody. This was completely my thing. Like, this was up to me. I just wanted to put that out there before I started saying anything, because I'm not trying to have people not be teachers. Like, I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm just sharing my experience and what I went through. I hope that you guys understand that. You can find me on Instagram at Simply Sarah Spalding, and you can find me on my website, simplysarahspalding.com, where you can find blogs, more videos, and all my links to everything. So I really hope you go check that out. Hit the subscribe button and the like button down below. That really helps me out, and I'm so happy you are here watching this video. So let's get into it. Okay, I'm just gonna like share kind of my teaching journey and then explain kind of like what happened. I graduated with my teaching degree in December of 2020 with my elementary education degree. 2 days before I graduated, I was offered my first teaching job in Greene County, Kentucky. It was for a kindergarten slash first grade position. This was during COVID, you know. Half of my class was first graders who were going to be repeating first grade in the 2021 year. And then half of them were kindergartners who were supposed to be kind of higher. That didn't happen, but they were kind of supposed to be. That way they were all kind of in the same level. I loved that school so much. I learned so much. I loved the people I worked with. I had an aide and she was amazing. I had the best group of kids and I will forever remember them. They were my first babies and I loved them so much and I miss them every day. And that school was amazing. I loved the small town feel and I was treated really nicely. And as I look back on it from my now experience, it was such a good setup and I loved that school so much. And I could go on and on about what different schools do and stuff for teachers, but I'm just gonna say I loved it. However, that doesn't mean it was easy. I would come home crying sometimes, and if you're a teacher, you get it, but it was hard and challenging, and I learned a ton, but it was far from easy, and I felt like I was doing everything wrong all the time. Like, and there's just so much pressure on you all the time, and it's just really hard. And I would think I was the youngest one at that school, but my mentor teacher, her name was Katie. I literally miss her every day. She was so nice. She helped me so much with everything, and my whole team was like just the best. Like I had it really good there and I really loved it, but I realized how hard teaching is, and parents are hard, and classroom management is, I'm terrible at it. Like, I realized all these things, like, okay, wait, this isn't what we learned in school. This is a lot harder. I don't get paid enough for this, is what I would think every day. But I knew I loved those kids. And Justin and I, so I finished through January through May there. And then Justin and I moved down to Florida right after our wedding in June. And I got a teaching job in July. At a kindergarten, in a kindergarten position. The school was weird. Like, I interviewed there for a fourth grade position at first, and then I turned them down. I said I didn't want it just because the school was in a really bad part of Bradenton, and it just kind of freaked me out. And like, there was no windows in my room. Like, my room was completely inside the building, which I didn't like. I moved to Florida so I could have sunlight, and when you're in an office, like, that's my office. I wanted a window, but it was getting really close to school time and I hadn't gotten offered a job yet. There's a lot of really good schools down here and they want more qualified teachers, which I get. But I found this school, and then I saw that they had a kindergarten position, which is what I wanted because I was used to it. I didn't know any better, but it opened up, and so I emailed her. I was like, hey, I know I turned you down for the 4th grade job, but I would love to see if I could get that kindergarten job. And she offered it to me right over email. So I got the job, moved in, and before school even started, I realized I wasn't gonna like it here. There were 2 girls on my team who were first-year teachers. I loved them. We were the same age. I'm still friends with them, and yeah, I love them so much, and that was the only good part about that school. Just to share like one of the ridiculous things that I had to deal with. Well, first of all, the principal required you to have like all these things and then didn't supply them for you at all. One of the things was she wanted us to have like 8 different types of bulletin boards in the classroom. So like math, reading, word ball, science, social studies, like there were 8 different types of things. I had 2 bulletin boards in my classroom. I didn't have resources for any of this stuff. And apparently we could get in a lot of trouble for not having all of those standards posted, even though my kids couldn't even read their name. And that's like a daily thing to change. And if you are a teacher, that's just not the top of my priority list. It's very far from it. And so they just micromanaged a ton, and they were not helpful, and they just made you feel really bad and put a lot of pressure on you, and then came to help, but then just gave you a million suggestions on what to do next, rather than, okay, do this and that'll be okay. They just kept adding on, and as a new teacher, that's super challenging and overwhelming, and you just have constant information. And my team leader, she was great and really knowledgeable, but we just didn't get on. Like, she was a rule follower. I'm just like, screw it. What are they gonna do? Fire me? And I just don't vibe with people like that kiss the boss's you know what. Like, I don't vibe with that. And we just didn't work. And so the fact that she was a team leader made it really difficult as well. Just the area was also really challenging, just to be in an area that was really hard. 5 of my kids spoke Spanish, which was really challenging. None of them had ever been with another kid because of COVID. Most of them didn't even go to preschool. I did have one super genius kid though. He was so annoying, like so challenging, but so stinking smart. Like, he could read like 2nd grade level books already, so that was interesting. But I also had to like carry him down the hallways sometimes because he refused to walk. So there was that. Yeah, so I did not feel good there, and I didn't like it, and it was horrible. I was coming home crying literally every day. I would literally cry in the middle of the lessons because it was so hard to manage 18 kids, 5 of whom couldn't understand me, and the rest of whom never had been around another kid before. And the admin, it was just terrible. And my last day of school there, actually, like the day that I left, a kid brought a gun to school, and the response was, you know, we need to believe kids when they say they have a gun, because the teacher didn't believe them and didn't check the backpack. And that was the response of the principal, was blaming teachers. And yeah, so I was happy to get out of that school. I left in October, so I lasted 2.5 months at that school, and it was 2.5 months too long. And I didn't leave until I had another job lined up. And at this one, it was a 5th grade position, and I was so nervous, but oh my goodness, those kids I fell in love with. Like, I fell in love with those kids. I miss them so much every day. And that was the hard part. I have ADHD, so it's very hard for me to manage little things. And I loved my mentor teacher there, and she was so helpful, and so many people there were, and I really loved the people so much. Like, it was the perfect school. The admin was off my back, and they didn't micromanage me, and they were amazing and so understanding even when I quit, which made it even harder to leave. As somebody who can hardly manage things myself, it was really hard for me to manage my kids' stuff too. And the amount of paperwork that you have, especially in testing grades, was so difficult. And if you have ADHD, you understand. But those little things are really hard for me to do, and they just keep piling up. So that, I was just stressed out all the time, to say the least. And it was really stressful for me. So at this point, I was like, okay, it's not the school, it's literally just the job. It's the job of teaching that's so stressful. And if you're a teacher, you're gonna get that. Like, I had 40 minutes in a day to do my actual teaching job, because the rest of the time I have to teach kids. And that's half of what I have to do. I have paperwork, IEP meetings, not to mention grading and things like that, that just make it super, super challenging to do your actual job. And then lesson plan and keep your room clean and classroom manage and behavior problems and all these things. And it's just, I was constantly overwhelmed and stressed out and crying when I came home, and no matter how much I loved those kids, and not to say there weren't behavior problems, the kids in the class would tell you that there was behavior problems, and that was really hard, because it was very hard for me to find the line between teacher and babysitter, rather than just having fun with them and getting through the day and actually teaching them something, which I did. My kids had good scores. They were very smart. I could see them improve daily, but the classroom management was so hard for me. And I know with time it would get better. And that, but I'm just saying reasons why I personally quit and what was hard for me. And I know I could have stuck it out a little bit longer, but I can't tell you how much more mentally clear I am now, and happier. And the week before I quit, I ended up in urgent care because my stomach was hurting so bad I could hardly stand up, and it ended up being from so much stress. And that's just not a life I want to lead for the next 27 years. It wasn't worth it for me. And when you watch my other videos that are coming, they will explain like what I do now and how I make money. And once I figured out that there are way better ways that I could make money that aren't in a teaching career where my health is being destroyed, it was the last straw for me, which I'll go into that more, so make sure you come back and watch. From October to February is when I taught in 5th grade, and I tried so hard to be good at it. I tried different classroom management techniques. I had classroom liaisons come in and help me and model and teach with me, co-teach. I mean, I tried everything, and I wasn't alone. And I realized it's not the school all the time. It was just my personality. And if I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self, hey, you're gonna hate teaching, you're not good at it, you know, I would, but I can't do that. And I just realized it. And would it have been nice to realize earlier in life? Yeah, but I didn't. And here we are. And I wouldn't have quit if I didn't get another job. So I'm gonna go into that in my next video. I quit because it wasn't right for me, and I don't wanna like scare future teachers. Like, that's not the point of this video. Like, you're probably gonna be a lot better at it than I was. But the main thing for me was I hated working outside of contract hours, and with teaching you have to. If I was getting paid an hourly salary, maybe, but I wasn't. And I couldn't stand the thought of working when I'm not paid. Like, I don't know if that's like the Gen Z in me, but I couldn't stand it. And especially when I did so much of it, like my entire Sundays would be taken up sometimes. And like when Justin and I have kids, like that's unacceptable. So, yeah, that was a big factor. I hated working outside of contract hours. And I didn't bring work home. I didn't do any of that unless I absolutely had to, because my planning was taken away with meetings or whatever. So I really tried my best to create healthy habits and set boundaries, and I did all of that stuff, and it wasn't working, and I was miserable and unhealthy. And since I quit, I have lost 5 pounds and gained it back in muscle, and I have been working out and walking daily and reading and taking care of my gut health, and I get to cuddle with my puppy every day, and I'm just so thankful that I had those experiences, and I'm thankful I'm a teacher and I get to advocate for teachers, and that will be my goal from here on out, because you guys are superheroes. I couldn't do it, and I'm friends with a lot of people whose moms are teachers or who they are teachers, and they're just superheroes and they deserve every good thing in the world. And yeah, so I hope that kind of clears up like why I quit and what's going on with me. Come back for the next video and you will hear what I'm doing and what's going on in my life. But yeah, I miss those kids every single day, but I definitely don't miss being a teacher. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so excited to start this YouTube channel, and go check out my blogs as well, simplysarahspalding.com. And please come find me on Instagram, where even more fun content is there, which is Simply Sarah Spalding. Hit the subscribe button down below. That means so much to me. Share with your friends. I love you all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye. Campbell.